Hey K-pop lovers! You're tuned in to K-pop Fair, where every story hits your heart like your favorite beat. Why would a 30-second hug ripple through millions like a secret earthquake? The video appeared out of nowhere, and suddenly the quiet of the night was filled with a million whispered theories. It was supposed to be private. Two names, Jungkook and Taeyoung, people who had been stars so bright they burned past scrutiny, and yet something fragile had broken the surface. In the clip, the light was ordinary, almost domestic, not the staged glow of a set or the polished sheen of a performance. It felt dangerously real. Jungkook leaned back, hoodie half-stretched, eyes heavy with something the smile machine everyone knew had never shown on camera before. His voice arrived, soft and ruptured. "Hyung, if I give up, you'll still be here, right?" No fanfare, no drama. Just that question, hanging like a breath caught between two heartbeats. Taeyoung didn't answer with words. He moved closer, and the hug that followed held the weight of 1,000 untold stories. It wasn't a comfort gesture you could easily categorize. It felt like a promise, a confession, and a shield rolled into one silent embrace. The world saw a moment, but ARMY felt a chasm. The kind that opens when a beloved mythology flickers and reveals a human spine beneath the armor. Within minutes, platforms overflowed, X, Weverse, search bars lighting up with desperate queries about who filmed it, when, and why it existed now. The timing was sharp-edged. Jungkook had just flown out, the airport incident on July 31st still fresh in collective memory. Images of him pushed and stumbling swirling in the background. Fans stitched patterns from fragments. The tired face, the recent silence from management, the absence of normal curated closeness, the video's sudden leak. HYBE's response didn't soothe. It amplified. Legal takedowns, copyright warnings, bans spreading like wildfire, an urgency that didn't match a casual personal clip. Why would a company drown a private moment in public erasure unless the contents echoed louder than the silence they tried to impose? Rumors that had long lived in the spaces between fandom speculation and denial suddenly had new gravity. Was there an unspoken truth hiding in that hug? Some saw the hug as a secret confession. Others saw it as a farewell, a desperate anchor in a sea of pressure. The phrase "personal issues," leaked from an internal email mentioned by a journalist, became a cracked lens through which every silence was magnified and every omission weaponized. Fans felt betrayed not by the hug but by the absence of clarity, the sense that love and pain were being edited out of the story. Comments poured in like tear-streaked journal entries. "He's hurting. Why are they acting like nothing's wrong? They've hidden this for so long, now it's breaking." Old wounds resurfaced too. Memories of that 2015 incident, the public shadow of a manager's aggression, were dredged up and stitched to this new fracture. An anonymous source claimed the video was old, private, known only to a handful, yet its leak disrupted internal plans. Plans for what, and for whom? For many, the narrative shifted. Maybe it wasn't just control over image, but control over intimacy, over narrative threads that fans were beginning to tug at. The more HYBE tried to bury it, the more feverish the speculation grew, as if silence had become a spotlight that burned through all pretense. The emotional avalanche wasn't about gossip. It was about witnessing vulnerability from icons who had spent years being curated, polished, and protected from being seen as merely human. Yet in that vulnerability, fans saw themselves reflected. The fatigue, the quiet plea for someone to stay, the longing for a hand to hold without explanation. Some believed the leak was intentional, a signal from someone inside who could no longer watch the concealment. Others feared a manipulation of perception, a staged crisis to distract from deeper cracks in a system built on perfection. At 3:15 a.m. Korea Standard Time, a statement arrived. Thin, measured, and incomplete. "We are investigating the source," it read, while the hug, the line, the fragile moment remained unaddressed. Silence on the deeper questions became the fuel for hashtags like #ProtectJungkook and #TaekookTruth, which looked less like fandom trends and more like collective prayer. The video's glow didn't dim with time. It became a mirror, asking, who gets to define what love looks like when the world only wants polished versions of connection? For some, the embrace was a shield against the industry's crushing weight. For others, it was a cry for help from two people carrying shared wounds in private. The narrative wasn't about whether they were lovers or friends anymore. It was about why their raw humanity had to be filtered, censored, sanitized for public consumption. And underneath it all, the deepest ache, the fear that behind closed doors one of them had almost given up, and the hug was the last tether to hold on. This wasn't only about a video, it was about the battle between truth and image, control and vulnerability, silence and the desperate need to be seen. As dawn crept over South Korea, the feeds filled with theory, grief, confusion, and protective love, while the world waited to see whether the story would be buried or told. Somewhere in that swell of noise, one honest question lingered, unedited and unasked aloud. When the cameras turn off, who is really holding who? That's it from K-pop Fair, your ultimate K-pop destination. Remember, stay sparkling and always follow your heart. See you in the next one.
I've been doing fine. I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb. And I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up. Cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure